about? Bradley
We were
Beal.
talking about Russell. We were talking about Russell Westbrook and
Oh,
how
how they traded away they traded away.
you keep saying the Wizards traded him as if they didn't want him. I think
They did.
I
They
think
did.
that Russell didn't want to be there anymore. Because they did
Well,
talk, because there was a Bradley Beal interview, and I was watching it because he was on a podcast, and he did say that him and Russ had talked, and Russ had told him he's ready to go. He liked playing with Beal, but he was ready to go. He's tired of losing.
he was losing with the Lakers, and I guess he told them he was ready to go too.
No, I think he was. I think he was willing to stay. They were just ready to go.
Maybe he's the loser. I'm just saying.
I will say you say that, but he brought the Wizards to the playoffs.
What do you mean?
The year he went there, the year before that, they didn't go to the playoffs. And the year before that, they didn't.
When he played with them, he was the triple-double king again, and that just means what? He got the ball in his hand, and he played.
And they went to the playoffs.
Bradley Beal was hurt, and they went to the playoffs with. They went to the play-in.
Still the playoffs. Play-ins is the same thing.
A bunch of ragtags. So I get he did get those guys to play a lot better than I expected them to, but at the end of the day, I told you before, Russ is kind of like Allen Iverson in the fact that as he gets older and towards the end, he doesn't want to like admit that he's not the guy he was when he's not. Ja Morant is him now, meaning that explosion, meaning that the way he drives to the basket, like that was Russ when Russ first came in. Still got it, but it's not like you got young guys that's just as explosive that leap higher to do the same thing. It's just how it is. And what Russ has never really had was a jump shot. So if he's going to be a point guard,
he had a midway shot. They've been showing up. He do his little stopping off the backboard.
I get it, but he don't threaten nobody with his jump shot.
Absolutely not.
They're gonna be like, take it.
But if he's driving through the lane,
oh, he's because he can dish it, he can hit the layup, he got moves. But I mean, again, you talking about now in this day and age, you got Jalen Greens, you got Ja Morant, you got guys that can do the same thing. Tyrese Halliburton's. I mean, it's a reason why my man is coming off the bench now. He ain't an all-star. When was the last time he went to the all-star game?
I think the year he's with the Wizards.
Did he go that year?
I think so.
We had to check that. Anyway, he ain't LeBron. So let's not get it.
Okay, he's not LeBron. But back to I
anyway,
I think if he's going with the money route, I think he chooses either the Bulls or the Wizards. They have the most money to give. They don't have that many players they're giving money to. If he goes the Heat route, he's willing to stay with that team to build around him and Butler and Adebayo. But if he's chasing a ring, he's going to the Clippers. And I think if he in his mind is like, he knows he has 4 or 5 years left. I would say stay with the Clippers. Stay in LA. That's his home. You know, went to UCLA. He has a big home in LA. His wife does stuff out of LA. Like, stay in LA. I would go with the Clippers. I don't know how much they can give, having Kawhi and Paul George and other people, but they did just give up John Wall and Reggie Jackson. So that frees up that space. But I would, if I was him, I would chase that ring, go with the Clippers, and yeah, I'd stay in LA. Like, that's my hometown. I'm staying in LA. Like, I'm not trying to go.
You think he brings value? You think he brings value to the Clippers?
Yeah.
I mean, not. I know. Of course, you're gonna say yeah, but like what? Okay, what value? He's
Um,
not a reliable jump shooter, so let's take that off the board.
we don't need he doesn't need to bring his value that he brings to the table for the Clippers, and for the I mean honestly for the value he brings to the other teams that want him. The Utah Jazz has said publicly that they would keep Russell Westbrook as their starter point guard if he didn't want to have a buyout. But he wants to buy out. He doesn't want to say. They were like, we don't. They even said we didn't trade for him just to buy out. We knew that could have been an option, but why wouldn't we want?
But you admit he's a ball dominant guard. Like he needs the ball in his hands to be his best self.
Yes, but he has shown Russell Westbrook fans, he has shown the NBA that he doesn't need the ball in his hand that much by coming off the bench. By coming off the bench, hold on, listen. By coming off the bench and by finishing the game with the starters, not having the ball in his hand that much.
But he does. Like when he comes off the bench, he's the leader of the second unit. Like that, he's the number one option on that second unit. And then when he ends the game with the starters, there's been plenty of times where he has the ball in his hands. Like there was one game recently, and so he controls whether he has the ball. I mean, that's when you're the point guard, you control who has the ball. Like the ball's in your hand. If you dish it, if you don't, whatever, that's up to you.
But that's a lot of people say what you say. He just needs the ball in his hand. He's the point guard. Who does he gets to choose who has the ball in his hands? If the coach says to him, Russ, do your thing, Russ is gonna go out and be like, all right, I have the ball. Either I'm gonna take the shot or I'm gonna set it up so someone else gets it. That's what a point guard does. Like when like LeBron, when he played point guard that one season where LeBron has the ball in his hand when he starts. When he's on the ball in his hand. No matter if Dennis Schroeder was on the court, no matter if Patrick Beverly was on, LeBron was like, give me the ball. Give me the ball. You guys go
the year that they won in the bubble.
I'm talking about this year.
But I'm talking about winning teams. Like anybody can play any basketball, but let's look at the championship teams. Winning teams. Who was the point guards? Who won the championship last year?
The Bucks.
You remember? Golden State. Oh,
Curry. Sorry, you're right. Curry had the ball in his hand.
And is Curry and Curry is what is Curry? A passer or shooter first?
Shooter.
Who won the year before that?
Bucks. And Giannis had the ball in his hand. Giannis had the ball in his hand.
Jrue Holiday, but Jrue is the point guard.
And he would give it to Giannis.
And he's a shooter. But and the year before that, when the Lakers won in the bubble, who was their point guard? Rajon Rondo.
And he's not a shooter. He's a passer.
But what I'm saying is
the point
none of them are like how Russ plays with the ball in their hands all the time. None of those point guards are like that. Like even Steph Curry comes off of screens and shoots the ball more than he has the ball in his hands. Would you not admit? My man be running around, catch a shoot before he dribble. Now,
that's their team dynamic. But if we're talking about people with the ball in their hands, if you look at the Mavs, Luka Doncic has the ball in his hands always.
And they not win. They not favored to win any kind of championship no time soon.
Now they got Kyrie, and now Kyrie has the ball in his hands always.
And when now they're trying to figure out.
When he was on the Nets, Kyrie just had the ball in his hands.
But did you see that play with Luka and Kyrie where they're like, here, you get it. No, for the last shot at the end of the game, they went back and forth like 3 times with the pass, and then the clock ran out because they're both like, you shoot it. No, you shoot it.
Because they're trying to be like, no, you like, I want you to be able to have the ball in your hand. It's like, well, this is your team. Because people say like what you say, well, why does he always have the ball in his hands? If you are the point guard, you need to have the ball in your hand. You get to set up the team. You set up what the team does.
Yeah, but you also know when, like, you go to the greats, Magic Johnson, John Stockton, like the guys who the leaders in assists. Yes, they got a lot of assists and they had the ball in their hands a lot, but they also didn't have the ball. Like Magic Johnson didn't have to have the ball all the
We
time.
can't talk about leaders of assists if we're not talking about Russell Westbrook. He's top 10 right now.
Yeah, but then he also want to rebound. He want to shoot. He want to do everything.
But we can't. But we're talking about assists. You brought up assists. He's top 10. He's top 10 in the league. Like of the season, he's top 10. I think he's top 8. And then if we're talking about overall, he's top 10.
But what I'm saying is his usage. Like if you're top 10 in shooting, I mean scoring, top 10 in assists, top 10 in it means that you definitely always have the ball. It's
That's
no
true.
other way to look at it. Like
but in
you're
this
shooting,
season,
you're
he's
passing,
not.
you're rebounding.
In this season, he's not.
Right.
He's only top 10 in assists because, like we saw last year, when he did want to have the ball in his hand and he couldn't shoot and all that, Coach Ham said it's time for you to be a John Stockton. It's time for you to be a Magic Johnson. It's time for you to be a Steph Curry. It's time for you to be a Chris Paul.
A leader of your
when you come out, even if you're leading the second half, I need you to pass the ball before you shoot. If you pass it and they're like not making it, it's going off, they get the rebound. Okay, then you do your thing. Go ahead. If they can't do it, then you do it.
But that doesn't mean don't. But see, that doesn't mean don't do your thing either. That I mean, like LeBron said, the reason we wanted him here is because he's Russell Westbrook. Like what he brings to the game.
So yes,
I
just feel like, what do you want the man to do?
You got to find a happy medium. It's the same problem they have with Carmelo. It's like you got to find a happy medium. Like we love what you bring to the game. Obviously, we wouldn't want you on our team if it wasn't for your skill set. But you have to blend that skill set with what we have already. And everybody, that's why when you form these super teams, when you got 2 and 3 superstars together, it's hard because everybody wants the ball in their hand. Everybody wants to be the guy scoring. Everybody wants to be the leader.
What happened with the Heat?
Again, when you look at the teams that are actually winning championships, who's the leader of the Golden State?
Curry.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it Curry? Is it Draymond Green? Is it Klay Thompson?
Curry. I don't think anyone. No, I don't think anyone would say anyone. Curry. Draymond Green's not the leader of the team. Klay Thompson's not the leader of the team.
No. What I'm getting at is, yes, Curry is the face of the team. He's the all-time great. Nobody say. What I'm saying is, at the end of the game, Klay might take the last shot. Draymond might take the last shot. Andre Wiggins might take the last shot. Like it's and nobody's Jordan Poole might take.
Stephen Curry's getting them that shot. He's making sure that happens.
No, he's a great player. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the team dynamic of when you building a team to win a championship. You have to have egos put aside, and you have to have that I'm the number one guy thing put to the side. Like I can guarantee you Steph's attitude has never been like, oh, I'm the number one guy, give me the ball, get out the way. Like never. Like he's more of the like, we a team, you can shoot, I trust you can make it, I trust you can make it. Like it doesn't have to be on my back to do it. Whereas and even you look at Milwaukee, you have a clear-cut, super duper star, Giannis, but at the same time, without Chris Middleton, without Jrue Holiday, without Robin Lopez, they're not winning a championship. Like they had their core players, but those core players are just fine with Giannis, you the superstar. We your co-stars. We gonna blend our talents together. Nobody's gonna try to be like, I'm better than Giannis. I'm the number one. I should be, the number one guy. When you get those stars together, like the Nets had with Kyrie, and when they had Harden, Kyrie, and KD, like, how does that look? who's the star? Who's the I'm the man? Who's the like? There is none of that. Like everybody want like James ain't gonna be happy if he ain't getting his touches. That's why he left. Kyrie not gonna be happy if he not getting his due, and all he seemed to get is slack, and KD gets all the glory, and so it's like I'm out. Like these dudes have this ego where it's like I know I'm great, and I need you to let me know I'm great, as opposed to I know I'm great, but I don't need to, like I'll let my game play and I'll just go out here
Yeah.
and play. I mean, think if Scottie Pippen had that attitude with Michael Jordan back in the day, because Scottie Pippen is a great player, Hall of Fame player, top 50 player. I mean, I know it's not your era, but I mean, you've
Yeah.
seen the highlights. The man was on the dream team. Like you don't make the dream team top 12 players in the world with all the great, just because you're the sidekick to the greatest. Like you got to be some skills too. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
and when Mike left to go play baseball for them 2 years, Scotty took them to the playoffs still without Mike. So like, but there was never a point where where Scotty was like, Mike, I'm just as good as you. I should be the number one. Like I should take the last shot. Scotty ain't had no problems. Hey, Mike, there you go. Fourth quarter,
That's
do
true.
your thing. Like he knew
But they
his
only
role.
won because
He
they had
knew his
Steve Kerr.
role. Well, I'm not gonna say only one, but I mean, big reason you got to have those role players. You got to have your lasers, as LeBron says. The guys that, yeah, I just sit over here and shoot threes. I let those other dudes do all of.
But
Ooh, 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 ooh. And I just
going
stand
back to
over here like, hey, I'm here, I'm open.
going going back to um what you said, what does Russell bring to the Clippers if he goes to the Clippers? If he chooses the Clippers, I think he will. But I think he does bring that dynamic. I think they were just talking to Kawhi and Paul George, and Paul George said Kawhi and I are like we have talked to him. No, when as soon as they heard he was getting traded, they're on the phone. Hey, we think you could come here. We think because Kawhi's never played with Russ, only on the All-Star team. And but Paul George has played, Paul George was second fiddle,
Right.
And Paul George said, they were asking him, they were like, why do you think you can play with Russ now if you couldn't play with him before? And he said, it's a different team dynamic now. Russ is coming onto a team that we've played already together. And he's like, I came on a team where they all have played together, but weren't doing nothing with it. And so he was like, I've played now with Kawhi and have known that Kawhi is the dude. Like Kawhi gets the ball in his hands. So he has gotten to this point where he's like, I have to play second fiddle. Like you were saying, like Michael and Scotty, like I know Kawhi's the man, but I know I'm the dude too. Like if Michael was not here and he gets sick, I can do my thing. So he's like, that's why we're winning games, because I'm okay with Kawhi doing his thing, but I can, Paul George can sit in the corner and shoot three. Like he can just. But he was like, but if we bring, he was like, Reggie, they were asking about Reggie Jackson. They were like, you guys are number 3 in the West. And Reggie Jackson helped you get there. They're like, Reggie Jackson is averaging 15 points a game as a point guard and 3 assists. And they're like, yes. But what he thinks Russ can bring is more points, obviously, and better facilitation of the ball. That's what him and Kawhi both said that.
Right.
Because Russ, yes, likes the ball in his hand, but after this season, like looking at him from this season, he really did do, like, this is last season, this is this season. Like I don't even know what happened last season. I don't even know why he was that bad. I couldn't even tell you. Like I couldn't sit down and go, man, Russ was that bad. Like this is what it just was bad. And so teams, those teams, the 4 teams I've talked about, are looking at him like that because it's like he's changed and they've seen that change, like what you're talking about. Can he not be the guy with the ball in his hands? And I think he's there. I think he's at that point where it's like, yeah, I'm the point guard, but I cannot have the ball in my hand. It's okay if I can't have the ball in my hand. If I'm gonna start, like what you were talking about, if I'm gonna start, I gotta be like Steph and be like, okay, you can shoot, you can do what you need to do. Kawhi can do what he needs to do. Paul George, he knows Paul George can do what he needs to do. So it's like, all right, now I got to get to the point where I'm getting 15 assists a night. You know, like I'm just out there because he can do it. He can go, he can drive down and like he was doing it with OKC when KD left. He was the man. That was the year he got the MVP. He
Well,
was
that his
he
big
was
his biggest asset is he can drive to the hoop. I mean, he's
yes.
always been a like like a junior LeBron. Like once he gets the steam going towards the hoop, get out of the way. He'll dunk on you. He'll flip it. He'll do it. But if he gets clogged up, he can shoot the ball out to his 3-point shooters. And I
And
think part of the problem with being in the Lakers is they don't have no 3-point shooters to bail him
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Even in the Wizards, he had 3-point shooters that he could,
Yeah.
kick the ball out to, and they bail him out with that three. So
And
it's
I
a
think
big difference when you don't
I
have the
think
shoot.
that's what made him I think that's what the difference between last season and this season was. You know, like we were just talking about this the other day. They got him the guys from the Wizards. Remember, we were like, he's played with them before,
Right,
so he knows in his
right,
head, well, I can kick it out. Like I know who's over there. I know Bryant can
right,
be behind me where I can go whoop, and he dunks it. But
right.
when he was last year and it was, KD, I'm KD, they had AD and LeBron, he's um, like I pass it out
Right.
this way, and AD's like, I don't know, what do you want me to do with this? And he's give it to, and it's like, guys. So in his head, he gets bejumbled. Okay, maybe I should just take the shot. So I think that's what Paul George and Kawhi are seeing. They're like, well, he's played with me before. He knows he can kick it out to me. He knows that I'm going to be open. He's played with Kawhi on the All-Star game. I know it's different, but he's played with him. They've played on a court together, so he knows Kawhi can do it. So I think that's what he
I'm
adds.
just
I
trying
think
to figure out what he brings that Reggie Jackson didn't bring. Because not saying Reggie Jackson is the same caliber player as Russell. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Reggie is a better shooter, by far a better shooter, a better
but the
3-point
Clippers don't
shooter
need
at that.
shooters. They don't.
Why? Well, every team
That you're
needs
right, but
shooters.
I'm saying as the Clippers are third in the West for a reason because Kawhi can shoot, Paul George can shoot. I'm not very diverse in the Clippers roster because I'm not a Clippers fan yet. Um, but
Well, they got
but
rid of Luke Kennard, who was one of their best
one
shooters.
of their best shooters.
That's
Um,
they got rid of Reggie. They got rid of Kennard. Like they got rid of some of
but
their better
they got rid of
shooters,
Kennard. They
and
got
they
rid of
brought in
Kennard and
Russ.
brought in.
Well, they haven't brought in Russ, but
They got rid of Kennard and brought in Eric Gordon to replace that shooting.
yeah, older. Right. So
He's
they
older,
got
yeah, but
older and
he's still. But
shorter.
you said, remember we were talking about this. He's still shooting, like he's still shooting the ball.
He can
So
shoot. And
you replace the
it's the
shooter with a
threat
shooter.
of his shot.
That's true. And then they got rid of Reggie Jackson, who when they played when the
Trying
Clippers
to
and the
think of
Lakers
all
played,
this. I
I
thought you
got
had your
it.
trade thing all pulled up for
I can pull it up.
so
You
we
want
can
me
get our
to? We can
facts
pull it
straight.
up. We can pull it up.
It's all
But
good.
John Wall was hurt, I think. So that didn't. You're not doing much there. You're hurt. So
he didn't get a chance. He's been hurt. He's been hurt since before he left the Wizards.
he did
That's
get
why
a
they let
chance
him go.
last year. I had to look this up because I was like, isn't he hurt? He did play last year for quite a bit of games, but he only averaged like 10
For
points.
Houston.
And like no, last year for the Clippers. Because he got traded.
No, the Clippers just signed John Wall this year.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
He got a buyout. From the Houston
We'll have
Rockets.
to look that up because I don't think so. Unless he played this year. Then.
After the episode, you go fact check, and then you can come back and say I was wrong or right. But I'm pretty sure
the next episode you was wrong.
He played a few games for Houston, and then they decided to sit him because they were going with the younger guys, and they didn't want to hurt, so he sat out the season. And then they bought him out, and towards the end of the season. And I don't recall if he signed with Clippers
So I'm
end of the last season or the beginning of this season, but I thought it was the beginning of this season.
so I'm looking at it. I looked it up. Got it. Look, see, got
Googling.
it real quick. It says
Uh-huh.
he was on Houston Rockets for 2020 season, but it says for the 2021 season he wasn't on the team. And then it says 2022 season, which I guess would be this season. He's on the Clippers. And it said,
Right.
I don't know how many games he's played yet, because the rest of these games just said 0. Obviously, he's not on the team anymore. But it says for the
Uh-huh.
2022 season, games played, 34 games.
Uh-huh.
He averaged 22 minutes, and
Uh-huh.
he averaged 11 points and
Uh-huh.
5 assists and 2 rebounds.
Which ain't bad at all. But then he
Which
got hurt
not,
again.
but yeah, then he got
He
hurt.
got hurt right before the trade deadline, so he can't stay healthy.
And so they got rid of him, which sucks only because in a podcast, I think a month ago, they were talking about that. Like he was with he on a podcast with a bunch of friends, and they were like, how did that Houston thing go down? And he was like, well, when the Wizards, because he wanted to be Wizard for the rest of his life. He said that. He was like, I'm ride or die Wizard. But he said he woke up one day, got a call, and they were like, we need you to come in the facility. He's like, well, I'm already on my way. I practice, we have practice today. But he said he got there and then went through practice. No one said anything to him, and he heard about the trade thing, whatever, but didn't think it would go through with with Russell Westbrook. And he said he went home, was having dinner, and got a call, and they said, "Yep, we traded you." And he said he was upset because it's like, how you gonna make me go through practice knowing you've already traded me? Just tell me, like, just let me know. He was like, I thought I was cool with the staff. I've been there my whole life. Y'all could have just came to me and said, "Hey, we're gonna get rid of you." And so he was like, I got traded for Russell Westbrook. And he was like, but the worst thing is Bradley Beal knew. And he said, and we was boys. And he's like, and so when he said, when Bradley didn't call him and tell him, he was like, he was hurt by that. And
But how does he know Bradley knew?
because he said they talked afterwards. He asked him, he was like, yeah, I was told not to say anything. And he was like, but we boys, like, you like. So he was like,
Yeah.
and so they were saying, but it's a business, so he can get in trouble. And he's like, I get it. Like, I get it. And he's like, but he said when he went on the Rockets, he knew he didn't want to be here no more. He was
Right.
like, this team sucks. Like, I don't want to be here. And they were like, but then you played and you got hurt. And he was like, yeah. And then I got hurt. He goes, but they still had to pay me. He's like, so he was just hurt on the bench. And then he heard he was getting traded. And he was like, oh, that's all good and dandy. And then he was on the Clippers. Well, I just saw another video of them talking to him about getting traded back, and he was upset. He was like, I think they're gonna buy me out because they heard that I don't even want to play for them. Like that he badmouthed the Rockets so much that. So I don't know what team he's gonna be on. He might go back to the Wizards. They might be like, hey, come on back. But his career might be over.
Yeah, don't nobody want him no more.
He might be
At
going to
some
play
point,
for the
you
Sharks
know
over in China. So
well,
the Shanghai Sharks.
if you want some money, that's where to go.
He might be
Chinese
going to
people will pay you
Thailand
big money to come.
with Dwight Howard. They might. So
Hey, Dwight and Taco Fall.
there you go. But the Clippers didn't get much out of John Wall, which they thought they would, but I guess he's injury prone. He has been his whole season. So I mean, his whole career. So, which sucks. You know what I mean? Like, that sucks for a lot of guys. But there are some guys who are injury prone, like Zion and AD. But when they are in, they're producing. They're giving you 40-point games. John Wall wasn't doing that. John Wall was giving them 11-point games. And it's like, okay. And so they didn't get that. The Clippers didn't get that from him. Reggie Jackson, I just looked it up. He was averaging, like I said, 15 points a game, but only 1 assist. So
I tell you what, hold that thought real quick. Hold on, I want to show you something. Keep the people entertained.
I'm gonna keep y'all. Okay, he holding on for a second. I gotta hold my thought. I don't even know what he about to do. He probably gonna bring out if you're watching, you can see that he left. If you're listening, then my father, he has walked away from the screen, and so he's asking me to entertain y'all for a second.
I'm back.
He's back, and I think he just brought some John Walls with him that he don't wear no more. They just sitting in they're about to be his work shoes. They about to get them all dirty.
Hey, that's that JW, them John Walls. See, we was talking about John Walls. I said I better go show some love to him because his career is about to be over.
His
But
career, no,
you
it's
know,
not about to be. I think his career is over. But as you can see, we won't keep you guys too long. We got 9 minutes left, so we'll end with what we're talking about here. We'll end with this. But I think Reggie Jackson, great player. I would put him, honestly. He played with Russ. I think Russ helped him get to where he is now. I'll be honest with you. And I think I was confused when the Clippers dropped Reggie Jackson. Because Reggie Jackson was giving, like I said, 15 points. Like there's not a lot of people in the league that are giving 15 points a night. He's giving them 15 points. When they played the Lakers, he gave them buckets. Like he had 27 points that game. And they just got rid of him. And so I think the reason the Clippers did that is because even though he's giving scoring, he's not giving much of anything else. Not rebounds, not many assists. He's just scoring, which, like I said before, a lot of their bench, they're winning games because their bench can score. Like that's what they do. So I think adding someone like Russell Westbrook to your team who can play off the bench. We've seen that already. He can play off the bench and he can start. We've seen it in years before. You get a versatile person like that who is more versatile than Reggie Jackson and John Wall,
but can't shoot.
That's okay. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't need to when
or
you're
play defense. Or play defense.
He can.
Because we haven't even
Russell
discussed
Westbrook
that.
Russell Westbrook is averaging two steals a game.
What's that mean?
That's a lot more than the rest of these point guards out here. So
steals is easy to come by in the NBA.
Ooh, y'all heard
averaging
that.
steals doesn't. Allen Iverson admitted it himself. He led the league in steals like plenty of years, and he admitted himself he was the worst defensive player because steals
Don't
just mean
get
you
that.
cutting into the lane.
Russ isn't the greatest defensive player, but he's not the worst. He's a good defensive player. You put him against all these other point guards, he can hold his own. He can.
So in the playoffs, going against Steph Curry, in the playoffs, going against Jamal Murray from Denver, in the playoffs,
Absolutely.
going against Luka, in the playoffs,
Absolutely.
going against I just had somebody else on the tip of my head.
Damian Lillard.
Who? Well, him too. Dame Lillard. Jrue Holiday.
Damian Lillard is the only point guard, in my opinion, is the only point guard that gives Damian Lillard is the only point guard that gives Russell Westbrook trouble. I've seen it. They play any other. He had not much trouble. And even then, when they played the Mavs, Russell Westbrook wasn't guarding Luka. They were missing. The Lakers were like mismatch, move, do this, and it worked. We beat the Mavs. So it's like,
okay. So
when we played the Grizzlies,
they got Kyrie now.
He can guard Kyrie. I mean, he can guard Kyrie, but that you say that like he can guard Kyrie to
nobody the best can guard Kyrie.
That's what I was gonna say. He can guard Kyrie to the best of his abilities, but Kyrie's an anomaly.
Like, but that's what I'm saying. When you talk of playoff basketball, he's got to go in the West. If he goes with the Clippers, he's going to have to go against Kyrie. He's going to have to go against Devin Booker. He's going to have to go against Jamal Murray. I mean, Ja Morant. Those are all point guards from the West. And you got Russ.
He already gave Ja Morant trouble. He already gave Ja Morant trouble. He already gave this year Jamal Murray trouble. I don't even know if
he gave him trouble.
Like I read up on my facts when it comes to Russell Westbrook. And when playing the Lakers this year, Ja Morant has the least amount of points playing the Lakers. Who else did we say? Sorry, Jamal Murray had the least amount of points playing the Lakers. I can't say
Are you
Devin Booker
sure?
because
Are you just spewing that out, or
I'm not.
that true facts?
They've played the Lakers more than once, but there was a specific game where I think it was the one we beat them because they had that 11 streak. Russell Westbrook was giving them buckets and was doing his thing on defense. Like,
all right.
I just
so all those point guards I just named, you would take. Well, I'm asking the wrong person. I would say you would take Russell Westbrook
unbiased. If
you I would take Russell as your starter over Steph, over Ja, over Jamal Murray, over Kyrie Irving, or Luka, which either one you want to call your point guard.
Luka's not a point guard.
Books, you gonna take him over Booker? Booker is buckets. Yeah. Booker can shoot.
I'm thinking overall.
I'm sorry. Chris Paul.
Oh yeah, yes. I'm taking Russell Westbrook over Chris Paul any day. Yes.
Y'all hear this, right? This man's taking triple-double over point guard.
Not this season. You better stop. Why do you think they needed to get KD?
For more scoring. Although, did you see what happened after the trade? After the trade, what's his name? The guy that they traded from Brooklyn. That they traded from Phoenix to Brooklyn. Mikal Bridges. 45 points the next game. You saw that?
And Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson, right?
Cam, the two guys that got traded for him.
Hey, come on now.
Buckets.
But see, the thing is, that happens because they're on a team where you're on the Nets. Who's going to do it? They just got rid of the people who were getting 40 points. Who's going to do it? Not Ben Simmons. Not Ben Simmons.
Yeah, your boy Ben. What's up with him? That's all. That's for another podcast.
That's a whole podcast.
We at the 2-minute warning, man. How we gonna break this down? We ending this or what?
We can end it. That's what I said. We'll end it after this. I think we'll end it with this. I think Russell Westbrook, if he goes with the money, he's going to the Wizards. Because he gets to play with Bradley Beal, so he still gets a chance to win, but he gets more money. But if he's going for a ring, he will be with the Clippers for the end of his season or end of his career. And I think as of right now, coming from Marcellus Willoughby Woj Jr., we will see because he has to choose by March 1st, or else he has to stay with the Jazz. So by March 1st, we will see. You'll see it on your phone. Russell Westbrook is on the Clippers, and he will be the starting point guard. And they will win the Western Conference. I'm not saying the whole thing because they still got to play against Giannis. But
you know what? And I expect that from you. I'm gonna end it like this. He's not going to the Clippers. He's going to end up with the Miami Heat. That's my prediction. My Woj singer prediction. Mm-hmm. He's going to the Heat. He ain't winning no championship, and Lakers are going to win the championship. There we go. Long live the king.
And that's how you ended it? Okay. Long live the king, LeBron James. D'Angelo Russell will be the downfall of the Lakers.
Man, I think after the season, look, we see the people next time we see him on the next Willoughby Report.
This was the Willoughby Report. Right? We will see you guys next time. Peace out.